today's television reboot culture is definitely very attractive to underemployed people such as ourselves. But I think it's great that Pete and Pete exists in the '90s where it was, because that's the only way you can capture that time. It's kind of like if you wanted to reboot it, someone trying to be a kid again after 30 years. So it could be a challenge. The idea of a Pete and Pete reunion TV movie is very tempting. I have to say, if all the other players are in, I'm in too. I think it would be. I think it would be a lot of fun.
TV movie reunion? Who's asking and who's paying? Because if it's Disney, that's not happening. Because we don't talk about the rat here at Nick.
It's really fascinating, the whole millennial nostalgia for those shows. It's, I think it's great. I think just the connection that they've had to material that they grew up with, and the fact that they still feel so profoundly and emotionally connected to it is really wonderful. Sometimes it's a little scary, especially when you see people with massive tattoos of shows when they grow up. It's like, oh, wow, okay, well, as long as it works for you. But I do love it. It's really wonderful. It's like I said earlier, it's really touching. It's very moving that all these years later, people are still loving those shows. We have talked about it, and I need to talk to Nickelodeon about it. It would be great to see them in action doing something. We shot a short film with the two of them a few years ago where Pete and Pete were grown up, and we shot it for Funny or Die, and it was hilarious, and not necessarily for kids, but it was great to have them back playing their characters again all these years later, so maybe there's something there. I'd like to think there is.
I think it's amazing to keep it alive and to show our history. It's the history of television. We got to keep history alive and show how things have changed and what's evolved and how different, even when I talk to friends that are in the business today, how different the audition process and everything is today than it was years back. So I want to see the history in the shows and the new camera angles and the way they can do all kinds of new things. We had a Steadicam, remember our Steadicam operator?
Oh yeah.
And he looked like RoboCop when he would come out to do the Steadicam shots. And I recently saw something shooting, and the Steadicam camera is now this little tiny camera. And remember when he used to get dressed in
Tim?
Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Steadicam. He was. I mean, it took him an hour to get dressed in all the Steadicam gear. But
I
now
think
it's-
the shows bring people back to that time in their life. You know, it is nostalgia, and the shows that really clicked with people, like Full House is, doing another series on Netflix. I mean, people, they wanna get taken back to that time.
Simplicity.
And you know what? And Hey Dude, the production value wasn't the greatest, shooting a comedy outside on tape, but the scripts were funny, the cast really clicked, and I think that's why it resonated, and it still does today,
My name is Steve Slavkin, and I was executive producer and creator on the show. I was also the voice of Dr. Khan, the never-seen camp director.
And I'm Danny Cooksey, and I played Bobby Budnick. I think it's awesome. I mean, it's there's a certain age group that didn't have the amount of choices necessarily. I mean, it was like either you watched like regular TV, and then there's Nickelodeon at that time that was like, obviously you're gonna choose, stuff that was created for you. So I think it's just, it was something they can really relate to.
I happen to think it's fantastic that people really responded to shows in the '90s. It obviously meant a lot to them, and it's really fun because we made the show and we were sort of in a vacuum. We didn't know that there were fans out there. We were working for cable television at the time. It was small. We didn't know what the response would be. And it's absolutely astonishing that the response is that people are coming out 25, 30 years later to see the shows. So we're incredibly grateful that the fans are out there.
TV movie reunion, perhaps, someday?
Well, that'd be nice.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun. That would be cool.
We run, we jump, we swim and play, we row and go on trips.
But the things that last forever are our dear friendships. Bum, bum, bum. Camp Anawana, we hold you in our hearts. And when we think about you, it makes me wanna fart.
Get it right or pay the price.